What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank you all so much for joining Dustin and myself for this being our review for 90 Day Fiance Season 12. I believe you're on episode 13. So, let's get into it. A couple things I want y'all to do before we get started. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Press that big white subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go on and mash it for a brother. Be sure to leave a thumbs up for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content I'm putting out on my channel. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various couples we're discussing in tonight's review. Also, be sure to press notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Last but certainly not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Quick reminder, my review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season finale will be coming, I should be coming out tomorrow. I got to get my hair done on morning. So I'll have to do that tomorrow. So please be on the lookout for my review on the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
So you're getting your hair done tomorrow too?
I'm getting my hair done on Wednesday. I typically do my videos either on Tuesday or Wednesday. And since I get my hair done first thing on Wednesday morning, I won't feel like doing it after I get it done. So I'll just do the review tomorrow to get it out the way. So
well, what'd you think about the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion?
The outfits. I've seen the preview. Miss Kim, she sent me a picture of all the outfits, and I've seen all the outfits. On the sneak peek. I love when the reunions have a theme, have a color theme, where all the ladies are wearing the same color, and they didn't do that this season. It seems like they got like two. It seems like they just have it split up a little bit. Portia and K Michelle are both wearing green. I think Drew's wearing black. Shamia's wearing gold. Pinky's wearing like blue or pink or something like that. So they're sort of kind of like two a piece in the same color. They're just not my favorites. Nothing really great to speak about. Whenever I think of reunion looks, I always go back to Wendy Osefo's reunion look for the most recent reunion, and to me, that is my favorite reunion dress of all time. Like no one can top that.
Can I ask you another question so far? I know we're off a little bit off. I know we're a little bit off topic tonight, but I want to ask something. A question. What is your favorite? What is your favorite part of the season on Real Housewives so far?
My favorite part of the season. That's a really good question. So I'd have to say K Michelle's introduction to the girls, to the group. The first three episodes.
I think she's been a good part of the season so far. I really like her so far.
I like her in the midst of the girls. I didn't like when they were on that trip in Dallas, and she was saying that there were people plotting on her, and people were wanting to do things underhandedly towards her and things of that nature. Even though it turns out it just might have been true. There might have been some truth to that. It seems like K Michelle has kind of leaned into the background. She was seemingly the main portion of the finale because all the girls came to her listening party for her country album, which is out right now. So make sure you go check that out. But I think she's a good fit for the group. I'm 100% sure she's coming back next season. I hope that she can really find her footing in the group so that she can get on a level like a Portia or a Candy or a Nene.
Do you think that Portia is going to leave?
What was that?
Do you see Portia leaving in the future?
No, not at all. Real Housewives of Atlanta is Portia's bread and butter. To be honest, right now, as far as TV goes, it's all that she has. So I'm thinking that Portia's going to hold on to the Real Housewives of Atlanta as long as she can, especially since she's the HBIC right now. There's no way. Just like Giselle's.
Well, the reason I asked is because I keep hearing conflicting things. I hear one thing saying one says things that says she's not going to come back. One thing she does. So I don't know. I hope she comes back though.
We'll see. I've never been a big fan of Portia personally. Just like I've never been a fan of a Phaedra either. So whether she's there or not, I honestly don't care. But I'm pretty sure she's going to stay as long as she desires to be on the show. I don't know when she's going to leave the show. I'm sure she's going to have to leave voluntarily because I don't see them asking her to leave or firing her from the show unless she does something very egregious. So, I think her spot is pretty solidified at this point. So
she's basically one of the higher ups, ain't she?
For sure, for sure. She's got that Nene spot. Not that she has the same impact as Nene did for the long period of time that she was on the show, but
Yeah.
she's the main girl on the show right now. So
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Even though I miss Nene, I still, I still, I miss Nene Leaks, but I think that Port is a good replacement for him.
Yeah,
Somebody,
yeah. Nene
somebody to take her
was
place.
definitely the heartbeat of that show for as long as she was on there. And she carried it well. She really did.
Right.
So yeah, but let's go ahead and get into the review.
Yeah.
Let's start out with let's go ahead and get Marissa and Edward out the way.
Oh
Really
my
not
God.
much.
Well, I don't really, I don't really have. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it because they aggravate the aggravation out of me. I want to
Yeah,
say the word, but you know what I mean, Jonathan.
I get
Aggravate.
you. I get you.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
especially Marissa.
for
Because
sure.
I don't think Marissa understands where he's coming from. I said this from episode one, and I don't think it's ever going to change. I don't think it's ever going to. I don't think it's ever going to change for her or for either one of them. To be honest with you, but I hope they figure it out because I don't think it's going to last.
I feel as though she might see where he's coming from. She just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Into that video that you sent me, they're off the show and they're not even coming to the tell-all. They've been fired from the
Yeah,
show because
yeah, they've
of
been fired. I forgot
Marissa's
about him being fired. That my
mother.
fault.
So,
Yeah, I forgot
we,
about it.
we
Yeah,
we definitely shouldn't have to worry about that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that though.
yeah,
But Edward is saying, you have to give me an answer. I want an answer now. And Marissa's like, I cannot give you a definitive answer right now.
yeah.
And Edward walks off. And so they get back to the house and they sleep in separate rooms. He sleeps on the couch, she sleeps in the bed. And it turns out that Edward went through Marissa's phone, or he told her that he went through her phone. He later said that he just said that to make her confess to what he found, and he found that Marissa had been talking to an ex of hers, and apparently Edward has issue with that. Auntie Robin says, "Who you were buffering? Uh-oh. Uh, am I still going? I hope I'm still going at this point, Auntie Robin. Let me know down in the comments if I'm
You're
still
still working,
buffering.
going. You're going fine for me, but I don't know if
Okay. Okay. Cool beans. Um, Edward and Marissa have a conversation about this, and Marissa then goes on to say that she feels as though Edward is starting to have signs or symptoms of doing something underhanded with her. She said something, I can't remember the exact verbiage that she used. Manipulative. That's what she said. She said that he was coming off very manipulative to her. Um, I don't know how. I mean, here's the thing. I don't support people checking their partners. Okay. Auntie Robin says I'm good now. All right. Thank you so much, Auntie Robin. I appreciate it. Um, Here's the thing. I don't support looking through your partner's phone. I feel as though if you feel the need to look through your partner's phone, you already know what you need to know. And
mm.
there's no need to get, specific evidence to back up the claims or the fears or the thoughts that you're having concerning your partner.
Well, I don't
Um,
think I don't support anybody going to anybody's phone. Period. Point blank.
yeah.
Only way that I support somebody going through somebody's phone is if you're with somebody and you feel like they've been cheating on you. Um,
But
I
that's
don't.
typically the reason why people go through their partner's phone is when they feel like they're
Yeah,
cheating on them.
but I don't. But I don't feel like this. I don't feel like on a regular day on a regular basis.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody going through my phone. um,
right.
because it's my personal conversation. It's what I have with everybody that I have a conversation with. So I don't want nobody going through it at all.
Yeah,
So
I
I
wouldn't
don't.
want anyone going through my
Mm,
phone either. Again, I'm completely against that action of people going through their
mm.
partner's phone. I think it's unnecessary. And once again, like that shows that you have distrust in your relationship. And if you have distrust in a
If you
relationship,
have distrust in your relationship this early, then you get out of it.
yeah, it's you've got to address that mistrust. Maybe go to counseling. You need to talk, you need to communicate more. The more communication, the better as far as relationships are concerned. But I it's it's odd to me how hard Edward is fighting for this relationship, and it really makes me feel as though Edward might actually be attracted to Marissa in the way that we would expect a regular man to be attracted to his
Well,
regular partner.
I didn't expect Edward to fight this relationship like they did, because I don't think. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that she really wants to be with him. Um, but I know he does want to be with her. But you have to have two people on the same page with the relationship, and they're just not all on the same page, and they're not very good for each other anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that they're good for each other either. And we see on the next episode they seem to be on happier terms, but then they go out to eat and they have another fight as well. So we'll see where this couple goes. Unfortunately, they won't be at the tell all because I really want all the women to go in on Marissa for how she's been treating Edward.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to our next couple, which is Maxwell and Aisha. So
Mm-hmm.
Maxwell and Aisha, they're going to the beach with their families to relax and have a good time. They discuss their marriage, their wedding plans, rather. Um, they want to, Aisha's family, they want to have a traditional Nigerian agape, I think, wedding. I can't remember the exact term that they use. But apparently they can't have a traditional Nigerian wedding because Aisha is not Nigerian herself. But they do want to have a regular wedding. But then Aisha's godbrother, Rod, takes Maxwell aside. And we get into this conversation that here's my thing on Rod. And I'll read Auntie Robin's comment real quick. And then I'll give you guys my thoughts on Rod and his appearance in this season. Auntie Robin
Mm-hmm.
says Marissa chastises him for not building a life in New York, but how is he supposed to do that? Yeah. Marissa has all these unreasonable expectations of Edward, and she doesn't give him the resources to be able to carry out those unreasonable expectations. So, there's no way that he's going to make her happy. There's no way, and Edward has to run for the hills. But anyways, as I was telling Dustin before we went live, Rod to me is that character on a reality TV show that's simply there to shake shit up. He's simply there to be the not the devil's advocate, but like the opposite of a devil's advocate. He wants to disrupt what's going on between Maxwell and Aisha. And the funny thing to me is like Aisha is so much more problematic than Maxwell is. Like Maxwell hasn't done anything problematic this entire season, but Aisha's actions and the way that she's been presenting herself to us as viewers, I have a big issue with. But Rod is telling Maxwell that he's not, he doesn't have a foundation, that he's not well off, he's not financially stable, things of this nature. He's
Mm-hmm.
also using the fact that Maxwell is a used car salesman against him, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, if he had some other job, you'd use that as an excuse to say that he's not right for Aisha either. So Rod can go as far as I'm concerned. He brings nothing to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that she should not be getting married. I agree that she should not be doing this. However, he is annoying to the highest degree at this point, and I don't want to see Rod again.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even know Maxwell,
Why
so
is
for
he even in this? Why is he even in this season? This is not about him. It's about it's about it's about the wedding and it's about the relationship. So why is he even involved in the season? I don't like it. I don't like the network that did. I don't agree with it, and I don't think that. I don't think the Discovery Network. I don't think you didn't do your homework before you did that. I'm just saying. I
Justin,
don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
Justin, we got to be realistic here. It's a reality TV show. It is TLC. They're going to bring people onto the show that are,
Mm,
probably more than likely unnecessary, but also bring unnecessary drama to a
mm,
storyline. And I think Aisha
mm,
knew that Rod would be
mm,
a great addition to her storyline because he was going to bring this type of negative energy to her storyline, and
yeah.
that's going to make her storyline a little bit more interesting for the viewer to watch. So I get why you don't want to see him because I feel the same way. I don't want to see Rod either. But come
Mm-mm.
on now, it's a reality TV
I
show.
know. I know it's reality TV,
It-
but come on, reality TV didn't used to be like this.
yeah, it's the most annoying part of watching reality TV. Auntie Robin says down in the comments, what cable or streaming service do you watch 90 Day Fiance on? Because on
HBO Max.
Fridays, because on Fridays, they run the show with bonus scenes, which sometimes gives a slightly different view of the couples. Yeah, I watch it on Prime Video, which also has HBO Max along with it. So I watch it through HBO Max personally. And to be honest, Auntie Robin, I don't know if I want to see extra scenes of these couples. Like, it's bad enough that I have to watch it for this show, child. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, I watch it through HBO Max. But yeah,
Mhm.
Rod brings nothing to brings nothing to the storyline whatsoever for me. I don't even know if he's doing this because I don't even think rather that he's doing this because he's looking out for Aisha's best interest. I feel as though he's here simply to cause division between Aisha and Maxwell, and I don't like that whatsoever because he has no reason to
Mhm.
do what it is that he is doing. Dustin, why don't you speak a little bit more on the conversation between Rod and Maxwell, and then we'll move on.
I don't think the conversation. I didn't agree with the conversation.
Hmm.
I didn't see no reason to have the conversation because it ain't none of his business. No matter what they do in a relationship, it's their relationship, and I don't care if you have. I don't care if you don't agree with it, but it's at the end of the day, I don't really have much to say on that conversation. I just didn't care
Yeah,
for it. I didn't
yeah,
like it because I think that I didn't like it because it's like if you and I have a conversation, it's none else but nobody's business but you and I's conversation. So why would you bring somebody else into it when it's a third person when it's not even it's not even their business in my opinion.
agreed. Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense.
that conversation brought nothing to the table whatsoever. It just
Mm-mm,
showed that Rod does not trust Maxwell, which once again is
mm-mm.
understandable. I mean, he doesn't know the man from a can of paint, but at the same time, the first thing he says to Maxwell before they start talking is he talks about the
My
scamming that a
question,
lot of Nigerians do, and
my
Maxwell did say that he knows a lot of people who do that type of stuff, but he's
mm-hmm.
not one of them. And looking at Maxwell and his family, they don't seem like the type that would do that. Not to say that, scammers look a certain way, but to see the personalities of the people we are presented with, I don't get that type of vibe from them.
My
But let's
question is to you, Jonathan, real quick. Do you think that this situation is going to go on after they get married? Do you think that going to have? Do you think Rhoda's going to have a lot of control over the marriage?
Aisha does not seem to allow Rod to dictate the decisions that she makes. Rod will probably bark, 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 and bark, and bark, and bark as much as he wants to about how much he feels as though Aisha is making the wrong decision. However, Aisha is headstrong enough to be able to make her own decisions, and Aisha's going to do
Mm,
whatever it is that she wants to do, regardless of what anyone has to say about it. That's
okay.
my viewpoint on that. Rod is probably going to not stop talking bad about Maxwell and his family. However, that's not going to dictate whether Aisha stays with him or not. Aisha's going to
Right.
make her own decision regarding her relationship with Maxwell.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering because I didn't know if he's going to have a lot of control over Asia. Over her after she got married or not.
Yeah, Rod is not particularly persuasive, at least not to me. But let's move on to Mallory and Rosh. So Mallory and Rosh didn't have much to do this episode. Mallory went horseback riding to get her mind off of the conversation with Rosh concerning the fact that she does not desire to have any children. And after she gets back from the horseback riding, Rosh and Mallory drive out to the venue where they want to have their wedding. To be honest, it looked like a plantation to me, the big white house that we saw.
Mhm.
But Mallory looked near a fountain, which was very beautiful, and she was like, "Oh, we can do it by that fountain." Raj is not mentally there. He's
Mhm.
still processing the conversation that he had with Mallory concerning the fact that she does not want to have kids. Excuse me, sorry. So they sit down and talk about it. Before they actually go to the wedding venues, though, Raj is doing some woodwork, some carpentry. I love seeing Raj do things that he's clearly good at. We saw that there were like 6 or 7 different bird houses on a gate on a fence, which I thought was great. And they were all different types of bird houses. Like he's very good at what he does. So I was excited to see that. But Raj had a conversation with his brother and reveals to his brother that Mallory does not has no interest in having any kids. And his brother says, why didn't she bring this up before you got to America? And he said, that's a good question. And so it's clear that Mallory and Ross have not had this discussion prior to this show. Now, I don't know if that's true or not necessarily. They could just be saying that for the camera's sake. I don't know. But it seems as though that Ross did not know anything about this before she brought it up to him on the previous episode. And so Ross's brother, uh, he encourages him to tell Mallory, well, if you don't want to have kids, then the relationship is over and I'm going back to Turkey. So
Mhm.
Rosh says that exact same thing to Mallory. Once they are at the wedding venue, they're sitting down, they're having the conversation, and he's saying, like, "Do you really love me?" And Rosh is equating the fact that Mallory does not want kids to her not loving him. And those are two completely different things. Just the fact that and maybe he's thinking that way because he's expressed to her how important it is for him to be a father, and for her to not, if they have not had this conversation prior to last week's episode, her not bringing that up in conversation before last week's episode, that is a big problem. It really is a big problem.
Mhm.
I don't think it means that she does not love him. I think that it was just very immature of her to not pull up her grown woman panties,
Mhm.
her grown woman drawers, and having the conversation and allowing him to make the decision as to whether he wanted to continue the relationship, knowing that she does not want to have kids. And we've had this conversation before when we were talking about Rick and Trisha, in the previous, before the 90-day reviews that we were doing prior to
Mhm.
this season, is that whether or not you have a desire to have children.
Mhm.
And for Mallory, if she has decided, even though she's only 29, both her and Raj are both 29 years old, during the taping of this season, she still knows that she does not desire to have any children. And I don't see that changing later on down the line. I don't know why she feels as though she's going to turn into her mother and be an unfit mother. I don't think that Ross would allow her to do that. However, she's made her decision. She does not want to have kids. I don't know how Mallory and Ross are going to be able to get past this, other than Mallory giving in and saying that she'll at least consider having children. But a consideration is not a yes. And if it's not a yes, then I don't see it happening at all. So, Dustin, where do you see this issue landing Ross and Mallory? Do you think it's going to break them up, or do you think they're
I
going to
think
work
it's going to break it
together?
off,
Wow,
and I think it's going to break it off because he really wants kids. He's really headstrong about wanting kids,
he
and
does.
she's not really. She doesn't really want kids. And like I always say, you have to have this conversation uh, way before this time,
Hmm.
especially if it's this heavy on. It's very. He really wants them. So I get the feeling that she doesn't want to have kids at all.
She doesn't.
So um, you know, sometimes you gotta have conversations way before this point. Um, Part of it's on her, part of it's on him. A lot of it's on her because she didn't want to bring it up. So if you don't want to have a conversation that you need to have, then that's on you. At this point, um, I don't, I don't think it's gonna work out.
I don't think it'll work out either. To be honest, this was the couple that I've been rooting for the most because they seem, as I've said in previous reviews for this season, season 12, they seem to be the most authentic, realist couple on the show that has the best chance of
Mm.
working out at the end of the day. But this is a huge issue that could drive them apart. But once again, that's on Mallory's part. Mallory, it's this issue is all Mallory's fault.
On your
It
fault,
is
yeah.
all the
All
blame
on you.
falls on Mallory for this. And Auntie Robin, if you're still there in the comments, let me know if you're surprised that Mallory did not have this conversation with Raj prior to him coming over to
Well, I think she
America.
didn't. I think she didn't have the conversation. And I still don't think. I still think it's. I still. I think it's her on her. I think she didn't want to have the conversation because he wasn't in America. But it doesn't matter if it's in America or if it's in another country. You still need to have the conversation a long time ago. Um, you have technology now. You have a phone that you can have a conversation on. Um, I have a lot of conversations over the phone myself, especially with a lot of people that I connect to. connect
Hmm.
with that's not in this area. So if you can have a conversation in person, you can have a conversation on the phone. Sometimes it is better to have it in person. Sometimes you're not able to have it in person, but it doesn't matter. You still got a phone in your hand. You can call somebody.
Well,
Uh,
Mallory does say that the
yeah.
reason why she didn't tell him earlier is because she wanted to have the conversation face to face. Now, I'm sure she has visited Turkey a number of times.
Hmm.
So it really definitely, in my opinion, if she had seen him in Turkey, gone to Turkey to visit him, she's had plenty of chances to have this conversation with him. I do agree that this is a conversation that probably does need to happen in person. She could have had it over the phone. Like she really could have had this conversation over the phone. But once again, it is what it is. Auntie Robin has a comment
Hmm.
here. She says, "Yes, I am surprised that the conversation about having a family didn't come up before." Okay, thank you so much for that, Auntie Robin. I appreciate your feedback on that because that shocked the heck out of me because Mallory seems to be the most mature person on this entire show. And
Hmm. It definitely is.
it just surprised me that she didn't bring it up. But let's move on to our next couple, which is Thomas and Paula. So we're back in California, and we're back to the same conversation that we had prior to them going to Charlotte to see Thomas's father and his stepmother. Is Paula using perfume and deodorant that is going to make Thomas's allergies act up? Auntie Robin says down here in the comments, she should have said something the minute he broke out the baby clothes. Exactly. Yeah. Because he did buy some baby clothes when he came to America. So yeah, Jesus, Lord have mercy, Mallory. Why did you not bring it up earlier? But anyway, so apparently Paula used some spray deodorant that was causing Thomas's allergies to act up a whole lot, and Paula clearly does not care about Thomas's allergies. I don't think it means that she doesn't care about him per se. She just doesn't care about the fact that it affects him the way that it does. Because I feel as though if it had a worse effect on him, she might consider it a little bit more. But because it's just his allergies that are acting up, maybe she doesn't see the big deal about it. But it's the little things that matter a whole lot because if you don't care about the fact that my allergies act up when you're spraying this deodorant or perfume or whatever it is that you're using, who's to say that a bigger thing won't affect you either? So it is what it is. But Thomas and Paula, they go to a wedding cake shop to try out some wedding cakes that are gluten free and vegetarian, I guess, or vegan or vegetarian, one or the other. But
Vegan.
they go to try the wedding cakes, and Paula says that her family is coming to California for their wedding, and she's bringing her mom, her dad, her brother, her sister, her brother-in-law, her sister-in-law, and I think she said two nieces, if I'm not mistaken, which are eight people altogether. And Thomas asks her, "Well, where are they going to sleep?" She says, "In the apartment, in the one-bedroom apartment that I think he said is like 7,500 square feet or whatever the case might be." Like his apartment is clearly not going to hold 10 people because it's eight of her family members plus Paula and Thomas. So I have a feeling that Paula only said this because she's on a reality TV show. Because who in their right mind would think that 10 people would be able to survive in a one-bedroom apartment? And I'm assuming that there's another room that the cameras don't go into in Thomas's apartment that we haven't seen yet. But even if that was the case, then he has a one-bedroom, and I guess the bed that they have is actually out in the living room. It seems because it's right by their like quotation marks using dining table. But it is what it is. But I refuse to believe that Paula was serious when she said that she feels as though she wants her family to stay in the apartment with them. I don't know if they're just doing this just because they're on 90 Day Fiance or what, but I don't like being uncomfortable, especially when I'm sleeping. I don't like to be cluttered. I don't like to be
I don't
for
like to be comfortable. Period.
I need my space. But we're back in this situation again where it seems like Paula is saying that Thomas is being controlling and he wants things done his way, but I don't consider me having an allergic reaction to you spraying perfume and deodorant being controlling. I don't consider saying that we should just get your family an Airbnb or a hotel when they come to California for the wedding controlling. I just feel as though Thomas is trying to be as comfortable as possible without any fuss about it. Like Thomas just wants to be comfortable, and Paula Paula and Thomas are sort of kind of the same way in which they both want things done the way that they want them done. And they're not going to change on that whatsoever for anyone. And for me personally, I don't like watching that. So, Dustin, what are your thoughts on Paula continuing to spray her deodorant and cologne, knowing that it is
Why
affecting?
does he keep? Why does she keep doing it? She knows it's gonna make him. She knows it's gonna. She knows it's gonna make him sick. So why does she keep doing it? Why do you keep? Why do you have to keep having this conversation? We've already had this conversation like 2 or 3 times this season. To me it's a little bit too much. But you know what I mean. It's coming to be expected by her by this couple's season, and I hope that they figure it out because I don't think it's the best thing for them to do. But that's okay.
And what are your thoughts on Paula suggesting that her family stays in the apartment with them when they come to California for the wedding?
They're not going to have enough room to stay in a whole. They're not going to have enough room to stay in there. A one
Yeah,
bedroom house,
right. Yeah,
or
that's
maybe a 2 bedroom. That's not going to be enough for 8 people.
and like, what are they going to be doing in their downtime? There's nowhere to sit unless you're sitting on the bed. You're going to have 8 people sitting on the bed just doing nothing. Like that. That makes zero sense whatsoever, Paula. Zero sense. Auntie Robin says down in the comments, under certain circumstances, people double and triple up in the living spaces. Some some immigrants in New York occupy the same apartment and use the beds in shifts. Well, I mean, I guess that could work out, Auntie Robin, but Thomas wants to be comfortable for himself, I think. And he also wants Paula's family to be comfortable as well. And when you have the option of putting them in an Airbnb and hotel to make everybody comfortable, I don't see the issue with that. But Paula wants things the way that she wants them, and so it is what it is. But let's move on to our next couple, Annabelle and Shay. So we actually got a smile out of Annabelle at the beginning of their scenes on this episode. Annabelle and Shay are doing a little bit of working out. I love Annabelle's smile on her face. I love to see Annabelle happy because we have not seen Annabelle happy since the first episode when we were introduced to Annabelle when she initially came over to America. So um, I was so happy to see Annabelle smiling and laughing and having fun with Shay. That's what I want to see when I see Annabelle and Shay. I want to see them getting along. I want to see them having a good time together. Um, and so they do a little bit of working out, and then Shay says, "Oh, I'm all sweaty. I need to take a shower." And Annabelle suggests to take a shower together. Annabelle loves to clean Shay's body. I don't. I think. See, one part of me thinks that it's like a sexual thing, and then another part of me thinks it's sort of kind of that's how her tradition or culture goes. Who knows? But we've seen Filipino women on this show before, and we haven't seen them cleaning their man right and left. So it is what it is. Auntie Robin says, "Comfort aside, that's too many damn that's too many damn people in my house. If I ain't Elmer J. Fudd." Um, Elmer J. Fudd, who owns a mansion and a yacht. Exactly, exactly. Thank you so much. I knew you understood it, Auntie Robin. So Shay and Annabelle, they get in the shower, they're kissing, they're doing a little bit of canoodling, things of that nature. And so then while they're drinking their protein shakes, Shay says that he did not like the way that things ended with his daughter Allison and Annabelle when they left the church. If you guys remember, Annabelle visited Allison's church in the previous episode that they were featured on, and Annabelle was making faces the entire time. She was falling asleep. She was looking at her watch. She really was not interested in being there, and Allison took that as disrespect. I would take that as disrespect as well. Me personally, if I invite someone to my church and they're acting like that, I would probably ask them to leave. But I know my friends wouldn't do that to me. But yeah, it is what it is. Auntie Robin says down in the comments, what I do not like about Annabelle and Shay is that Shay is putting the responsibility right for his daughter and Allison getting along. Hold on, putting the responsibility for his daughter and Allison getting along. The daughter started it by being mean, rude, and disrespectful. I will agree with you, Auntie Robin. Initially, Allison was quite disrespectful, but then a couple episodes later, Allison, got a little bit better around Annabelle. She wasn't necessarily being that rude, at least not from my viewpoint. Um, Auntie Robin also says, you gonna tell me that you never doze off in church? I have dozed off in church before, Auntie Robin, but for me, I don't know if Annabelle was really dozing off or if she was trying to express the fact that she was so bored and did not want to be in that room and that church at that time. Because I've never made faces like Annabelle was making in a church. Never made those types of faces that Annabelle was making in a church. But yeah, so Allison took that as disrespect, and I agree with Allison. I really do. Yes, initially Allison seemed as though she was going to try to break Annabelle and Shay's relationship up, but she kind of warmed up to Annabelle a little bit as time went on, and she wanted to start telling Annabelle all the things that she knew that her father probably was not informing her on. So I've kind of liked Allison through this thing. I didn't like her initially when she was trying to break him up, but as time has gone on, I've sort of kind of been on Allison's side in this thing. So Shay suggests that Annabelle and Allison go dress shopping with Annabelle. But then we find out that Annabelle actually found a wedding dress for $200, and she's just going to shop for a veil. So Shay goes to Allison's house so that they can go to the dress shop. And while they're in the car, Shay is telling the ladies, and I do agree with you, Auntie Robin, that uh, that that Shay is putting the responsibility on Annabelle to fix things with Allison. And I think that, you know, at the same time, though, Shay was saying that they were both in the wrong in that moment. So Shay's like sort of kind of riding the fence in this time. He's not really taking either of their sides, and I do feel as though that's the best thing for him to do at this point. Although I think most people would say he should probably take the side of his partner rather than his daughter. But I think that it's best for him to stay right there in the middle and allow the two who are having issues to work it out together. Um, but Shay suggests that Annabelle sort of kind of tell Allison about her life, tell her about her experiences in the Philippines and things of that nature, allow her to get to know her. Apparently, Allison lost her mother when she was younger due to some possible. Shay didn't confirm it was addiction that took Allison's mother out, but he sort of kind of alluded to that being the case. But Shay, Allison does refer to Annabelle as a bitch in the car, which I personally would never want to call anyone a bitch in their presence. Like, I don't like confrontation. I'm a Libra. I like everything to be balanced. I like all peace. I don't like confrontation or things of that nature. So I didn't. I'm so glad that Annabelle did not respond when Allison referred to her as a bitch. Um, and I applaud Annabelle for not losing her cool in that moment. But they go into the wedding dress shop. Annabelle tries on a wedding dress. I'm not sure if it's actually the dress that she bought for $200, but she's got on a wedding dress. She's got on the veil. Allison says it looks nice. And then Annabelle goes on to say that she was married once before, and she found out that her husband was cheating on her and had a baby with someone else or got someone else pregnant. I don't know if the baby came to fruition, but got someone else pregnant. And that really broke her heart. And then Annabelle goes on to say, I understand that your mother, you've lost your mother. And, Annabelle goes on to say, I hope that you can accept me as your stepmother. And I give Annabelle lots of props for putting her pride to the side, although she didn't apologize for the disrespect at the church necessarily. I'm hoping that they can get past this and move on to greener pastures as time goes on. So, Dustin, what were your thoughts on Annabelle and Allison's interactions this episode? And do you think they'll get on a better foot?
I think they're going to get on a better situation. I'll put it that way, a better situation.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get better, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't really have much to say on this couple.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm actually pretty interested. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen. But you know what I mean? It's either going to be what it's going to be what it's going to be. I'll say that I'll keep it short and sweet for that couple because I don't think it's going to last. I really don't think it's going to last between Shay
Wow.
and Annabelle. Uh, and that's how I feel. But we'll see
Yeah.
what happens, and I'm going to figure it out.
Mm, mm. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Yeah, I hope that it works out with Shay and Annabelle. Because when they're on good terms, you can tell how much they care for one another and how madly, deeply in love they are with one another. So I
Yeah,
do hope that it works out because, besides the issue with Shay's family sort of kind of allowing him and enabling him to, do the things that he does that Annabelle doesn't necessarily like, I really don't see any other issues that will come their way. But let's move on to our last couple for this episode, which are Katie and Josh. So Katie's having a bachelorette party. I'm not sure what
yeah,
kind of bachelorette party this was going to be, but hey, it's a bachelorette party nonetheless. Because with the bachelorette party, I'm assuming there's going to be male strippers right and left, going to be grabbing some booty, going to be singing some things, and But hey, it is what it is. And this is the first time we're actually seeing female friends of Katie's, and I don't know if it's just me, but it seems as though one of her friends, the one that was talking the most in the confessionals, it seems as though she might have the same type of condition that Katie does, that type of nervous, type of autistic leaning type of thing, spectrum type thing. It seems as though that was the case. But I was very surprised to see that Katie actually has girlfriends. And as soon as they get in a limo, Katie wants to know the lady's stories, her favorite stories about her kissing random people. And then she goes on to say that, once they get into they're going to a bar that is set up like a funeral. I don't understand why people would want to go to a bar that's set up like a funeral, but whatever. I'm sure there are people out there who would like that. If
I
that's
don't
your
like that.
right, I don't
Mm-mm,
like that either. But if that's your thing, so
mm-mm.
be it. Go on to do that thing. But the fact that Katie actually said out of her mouth that after she gets married, she has to stop being a hoe or something along those lines, that further validates the fact that I said a couple of reviews back. I don't think Katie's just stopping at kissing. I think Katie likes to have sex with random people. That is alleged. That is all alleged. That is just simply my opinion. But when Katie said she got to stop being a hoe after she gets married, I mean, she just told on herself, which I appreciate the fact that she feels comfortable enough to be vulnerable in that way. Auntie Robin says, Katie and Josh, Katie,
Can I just say something real quick?
go ahead.
I think I think she is a hoe in my opinion.
Ooh,
Just say the word. I think she is one because to be honest with you, I don't get a good feeling from Katie this season.
me either.
Um, I never have, and I don't think she's going to change. I think she needs to change, but I don't think she's going to.
She's not.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And Katie admitted it that she was a hoe. She admitted it. So I've what I said a couple of reviews ago. I think it's
Sorry to say about that on. Sorry to say that on the platform,
oh
but
no, I said the word myself, Dustin. It's okay.
yeah, yeah. I don't want everybody to get up in an uproar because I said the word, but that's how I feel about the season. I feel about Katie because Katie is a really on my last nerve so far. So I gotta say what I gotta say because it's on my mind. So hopefully everybody thinks that it's okay over here. I'm okay, but I would say what's on my mind. Hmm.
Yeah, they should be fine, Dustin. I'm sure no one's gonna come after you for saying the word hoe or
Yeah,
calling Katie a hoe because she called herself one, uh,
yeah.
basically. So it is what it is. Auntie Robin says down in the
Mhm.
comments, Katie and Josh, Katie. I'm going, I'm going to go a little easier on her this week because I saw some things, and then she goes on to say.
Mhm.
Auntie Robin continues with saying the facial tics, them, the monotone speech, for sure, pattern, and inappropriate giggles, laughter, for sure. Even the way she ate, okay, gave me the gave me the impression that she is absolutely on the spectrum. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
I
And I
think
said
she is.
that like as soon as
I
I
think
saw
she
her.
is on it. I think she is on
It definitely seems that way for sure. It definitely seems
it.
that way for sure. And
And
then
doesn't
Auntie
mean,
Robin,
and there's a lot of people that's on the spectrum that goes undiagnosed for a very long time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Auntie Robin also says, Dustin, we done been calling her a hoe.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Andrew. Just people in the back. Sometimes people don't understand what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
that's why I said
Yeah.
that.
It's
Hmm.
okay. It's completely fine. So the girls are asking Katie, she's looking forward to being married. And from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like Katie's really looking forward to being married. And they start to play Never Have I Ever. And Katie reveals to the ladies that Josh has never performed oral sex on her before.
Oh
She
God.
said that she's had oral sex performed on her from other guys, but Josh has yet to have oral sex with her. And I don't want to speculate as to why he doesn't want to, but some guys don't like to do that. And, I get that. And you have to find someone who does not mind you not
Well,
doing that.
you have to give him a chance to get comfortable with you before you do that. I mean, um, he might
That's
not he, he might not be fully comfortable with her yet. I don't know,
I
but
don't- I'm
hmm
he may not be comfortable with it at all because for me, as far as I know, sexually, if that is something you do, you're comfortable with doing it. Oh, I could be wrong about
anywhere.
this, but you will be comfortable with doing it with anyone. So I have a feeling that Josh just does not do that. That's what I'm thinking. That's just something that he does not like to do, which there are men out there who do not like to perform oral sex on their partners. There are women out there who do not like to perform oral sex on their partners. Those people do exist. So there's that. Katie goes on to say that her sexual life with Josh is just okay. It's nothing to write home about. So Katie wants to introduce the conversation to Josh concerning them having an open relationship. And the
Right.
ladies, the friends that Katie is with, are asking her, well, is it something where, you want to have sex with other people? You just want to kiss other people? What is the case? And Katie's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's a little bit too soon for that, Katie. That's just my opinion.
What
What
was
you
that,
do?
Dustin?
I said I think it's a little bit too soon for that, my opinion. But to have open relationship with somebody else, I think it's a little bit too soon. Um,
For for me, I feel as though if you're going to have an open relationship, it needs to be established as early in the relationship as possible because once you're able to set a foundation for your relationship and then you want to make an extreme exaggerated change like that to open up the relationship after being together for such a long time. I can't remember exactly how long Katie and Josh have been together, but for her to bring it up this late
for
in the
2 years,
game,
I think it was two
I
years.
feel as though that is unfair to Josh because
Mm.
he seemingly has not heard a word of this prior to this happening. She's clearly, we saw in the preview for the next episode, she's going to bring it up in conversation on the next episode. And I know that Josh is not going to be here for that whatsoever. If he doesn't want her kissing other people, he's definitely not going to feel comfortable with her having sexual relations with other people outside of their relationship. So
Right.
I don't know why Katie even would dream of thinking that Josh would be okay with this because there's no way in God on God's green earth that Josh is going to be down for an open relationship with Katie. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Auntie Robin says maybe Josh is like was like DJ Khaled. He said he don't neither. Yeah, DJ Khaled did famously say that he does not perform oral sex on women, but he expects oral sex from women, which I think
Yeah.
is very interesting as well. Auntie Robin also says they've been to hold on. They've been to together for 2 years. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that, Auntie Robin. Your two and together was yeah, it was just misspelled. Yeah, that's the only reason why I was having trouble reading it, Auntie Robin. But thank you so much for that comment. And then Auntie Robin has two other comments, and then we'll move forward. Okay, I've read that one already. So Auntie Robin also says, "Do we know why Katie and Josh want to be married?" I don't think we know that. I
We
don't know
don't know
why
the
Josh
reason.
wants to marry Katie. I definitely don't think Katie wants to marry Josh. The way that she was talking on this episode, she ain't ready, and I don't think she's going to be ready for a minute. Like maybe not until she gets into her 40s or so, when she gets older and maybe has a little bit more maturity under her belt. But right now,
Sorry, but
she's not
how old is she now?
let me see. Hold on, it's gonna take me a second to pull it up. Katie is 27 years old and Josh is 30.
Yeah, a little bit too young, right now for her.
Yeah. Let me see here. This other comment from Auntie Robin. Katie thinks Josh would be okay with them open relationship because he seems to be he seems to be now with them being unmarried. Yeah, that might be a reason in Katie's mind, but Josh is not going to go for it whatsoever at all. There's no way, no way. Like I said before, if he doesn't want her kissing other people randomly, he definitely would not be comfortable with her just having sex with people outside of their relationship. It's just not going to happen. So, Dustin, how do you think this conversation with Josh is going to go next episode with her considering them having an open relationship?
Just get ready, Jonathan. That's all I got to say. Get ready because I think there's going to be a big fight coming up
Yeah.
between Katie and Josh, and that's
Th-
all I got to say about that. No.
this is going to
Oh,
bring up their like the same conversation they've been having all season long about Katie's tendency to want to do things with other people. It's not
yeah.
going to go well at all. And hopefully, this can be the straw that breaks the camel's back with Josh, and he goes right on back over to Mariel England because, yeah, they're clearly not
He
good together
definitely deserves better.
at all, at all. So that's all we got for this review, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Dustin, why don't you go ahead and share with the good people your social media contacts real quick?
My social media contact is Dustin Butler 700. My Instagram, my Facebook is Dustin Butler. My TikTok is Dustin Butler 24. As always, I want to thank my whole entire team for being here, and we will have another episode next week, and I will be glad when we have the tell all because I'm ready to start the next show coming out, and we will definitely do that here coming up. But I'm ready for the tell all.
For sure.
Oh,
I agree.
I want to see what the tell all brings. Um, because I think that a lot of people is going to be surprised when the tell all does come out, and hopefully we do. Hopefully we do see it coming up
For
here
sure.
pretty soon. Hmm.
For sure, for sure. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Jojo underscore speaks 3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee at gmail.com. My Cash App is dollar sign Jonathan Lee 07. That's dollar sign JONATHANLEE 07. If you'd like to support my channel, allow me, help me to upgrade things that I've got going on over here, please feel free to do so. I love you guys for watching. Once again, be on the lookout for my review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season finale tomorrow. Also, be sure to join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my live Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my sister Prophetic Fire Reiki, as well as our friend Bianca Edwards. We always have a great time talking about the latest happenings and goings on in the world. So join us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my live Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I love you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a safe week, and we'll say bye for now, y'all. See you